Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Italian League selection on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if you want to hear about a particular player in this pack, just click in the description and there'll be a link that takes you straight to them. So, as always, I'll start with the lowest rated, all 5 stars in this pack, and we'll start with Sebastiano Esposito, who plays for Empoli. He has a face scan, he's a dummy runner. I've had a few dummy runners lately. He's only got inconsistent form, that's a bit of a shame. It's the first version I've had of this guy, and I'm pretty sure he's got a couple of brothers actually, at least one brother. But yeah, plays for Empoli, centre forward. We'll look at skills before we go to eFootball Hub because I don't trust eFootball Hub with the skills at the moment. Long range curl is a good one, first time shot. Outside curl is nice. He's a super sub, always nice. Could do with maybe one touch pass and through passing, but yeah, got first time shot and long range curler, two of the most important ones on the forward. So let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We're going to see how he trains up. And he is decent. He's not amazing. He had a pretty decent boost from his GP card. Most attributes are up by 3 or 4 at level 1. Tight possession is up by about 7, as is physical contact. Those are the 2 biggest boosts. And yeah, he kind of looks alright on the whole. Passing is the one concern. I was saying he could do with maybe one touch pass and through passing. I think he definitely needs those with those passing attributes being a bit dodgy. But it does depend on how you use him, because again, with the dummy run, I've been saying with all the dummy runners that I've been reviewing recently, it depends how you use him. Dummy run is a very unique playing style. You play him as a centre forward, they'll make a lot of runs kind of darting out to the channel, sort of diagonal runs from the centre out wide, and they'll take a defender with them. That's what they do. They're really good at doing that to create space in the middle for other players. But yeah, it's an active playing style, centre forward and SS, and also attacking midfield. So there's different ways you can use it in terms of positions, in terms of where you position the player himself, but also it depends who else you've got in those positions. Are you going to play him alongside another centre forward? Are you going to play him behind a centre forward? You can have 2 dummy runners. You can have him with a goal poacher or a fox. There's different ways you can use them. Their movement seems to vary each way. It's a very unique playing style, and if you do use it well, if you can kind of get some joy out of it, it can be a really nice playing style. But on the flip side, if it doesn't really work for you, then it can be the opposite, and you might really not like a dummy runner. So yeah, it just depends on how you want to make it work for you. But I would say for a dummy runner, I do like them to have at least decent passing. Sure, they're going to move from the centre out wide a lot of the time, and you're usually trying to work the ball into the middle. If the ball does then come out to them, they don't tend to be that close to the goal quite often, in which case you need them to be able to pass their way back into those attacking areas in and around the box. So yeah, passing skills might be preferable on this guy. They haven't put any points on his passing, to be fair. But the thing is, if you're going to move some points around and try and make him better at passing, where are you going to sacrifice those points? Because attacking awareness of 85 is not brilliant. A centre forward, you want a bit more than that. Dummy runners, it depends how you use them, but you do need some attacking awareness on a dummy runner, as any centre forward. So then you can really afford to take anything there. On the ball, I'd like a dummy runner to be good, be at least decent on the ball, and he's decent. He's not amazing. Finishing, I don't think you want to take anything off that. I mean, you could maybe, if anything, take him off there. That's the only place really I think you could afford to nick a few points. You can then at least get his low pass and lofted into the mid-70s. Is that worth it? It's entirely down to you. I do think it's probably worth it depending on how you're going to use him. For me personally, I think that would probably be worth it. But yeah, it's a decent card, this. It's not an amazing one. Decent pace. He's got a little bit of physical strength about him, especially with that boost they've given him on his physical contact. Balance is alright. He's kind of okay-ish on the ball, depends how you use him again. The awareness and finishing, obviously we've taken a few points off finishing there. Neither are outstanding, even with auto allocation. 88 on finishing is good enough. But yeah, when it's 85, I don't know. This isn't the most exciting card. In terms of other ways you could use him, you could position training for AMF. I'll see what the auto allocation says there. Yeah, as expected, his passing is not great in that position. You could maybe nick one off dribbling, get his passing at least 1 higher. But yeah, I mean, you would have to give him the passing skills, and even then, you can't really get his passing high enough to be a good AMF, I don't think. Interesting, you can get his ball control and tight possession to 90. I was just thinking, could you get those attributes higher as a centre forward? But it's the same issue, like when I was looking at the passing. You go over the auto allocation centre forward, I don't think you really can, because you're not going to be able to free up the points from elsewhere. So yeah, attack midfield is a no. Wide right, I don't know. Right footed, his lofted pass isn't going to be great. We'll just see what the auto allocation says as a wide forward, regardless of the side. So yeah, a wide right as a right footer, not for me. You're not going to be able to get another crossing with the guy. But wide left, I mean, it would take you 2 position trainers minimum. Obviously, with position trains, it could take you about 500. You never know. Left midfield, you'd only need 1 to make him a left midfielder. Would you want to make him a left midfielder? I mean, you could. Look at the way these points have been auto allocated. Needs a bit more speed, doesn't he? As a wide forward, at least, obviously the passing is pretty bad. I don't know if I fancy him as a left midfielder, but as a very attacking left winger, or either left midfield or certainly left wing forward, you can get his pace up to a decent level there, 88, kicking power up to 90. You can make him pretty decent at the ball, attacking around 85, finishing 80. He's got long range curler. That could be an option if it's a card you pick up, and if you really don't like that dummy runner playing style, and if you do end up with this card, you could position train him to play wide left. And he could be pretty decent there. Not amazing, the passing won't be great, but elsewhere I think fairly good. So that is one option for you. But in terms of other positions, that's about it really. Other than that, like I said, as a centre forward, dummy runner, there's no correct build. There's different ways you can do it, but it's not a brilliant card. You don't have too many points you can really shuffle around to improvement in any particular area there. So I don't think it's an amazing card, but if you do like a dummy runner, there aren't that many good dummy runners around. And this is a decent card, not an amazing one, but a decent one. Just comes down to that playing style. So you could at a stretch, if you really wanted to, make him a decent wide forward on the left, if you got the position trainers. But as a centre forward, if the dummy runner play style works for you, could be a decent option. But if it doesn't work for you, then yeah, it's obviously not going to be a great card for you. But it's not a bad card, just not a particularly amazing one. And next we have Nikola Vlašić. I hope I've said that right. That's how the commentator says it, so don't sue me if I said it wrong. He's a whole player, got a face scan. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've had a feature version of him. That's surprising. I was pretty sure we'd had one, but yeah. It looks like it's the first time I've had a version of him. Unwavering form. So that's slightly generous. He's got a few positions he can play behind the attack as SS or IMF. Can play right midfield as well. You can position training for the left. He's right-footed. What we got skill-wise? Long range curler is an important one. Long range shooting as well. And then you've got one touch pass and through pass. So he's got passing and shooting skills, a few skill moves as well. Decent selection there. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Vlašić card? It's decent. So obviously we start with the lowest rated, so it's going to be, we'll probably be a few pairs in before we get into the really good ones. But he does look decent. He does look alright, Vlašić. He's had a mixed boost from his GP card. Attributes boosted from anything from 1 to 5 in terms of how many points they've put on at level 1. The ones that boosted by 5 are finishing and kicking power. So clearly his shooting's going to be a bit better. Even his defensives have had a bit of a boost, to be fair. So yeah, mixed boost across the board, but certainly his finishing's been boosted more than it normally would be. And yeah, he looks pretty neat as an attacking mid, tidy on the ball, decent passing. He's got the passing skills. Attacking awareness is decent on a whole player. He won that in the 80s for a whole player. Finishing not brilliant. He does have long range curler and long range shooting, but finishing 75 is not brilliant. So don't ask too much from the shooting. Decent pace. He's going to be fairly nippy. Acceleration, kicking power is decent. Balance is decent. Yeah, it looks like a decent card. Not an amazing one, but certainly very decent. Apart from the finishing, I think everything else is looking pretty nice. Would I do much with the way the points are allocated? Not really. I don't think there's anywhere really where there's kind of an excess of points where I'd want to take the points away. The one place I put the most is on the ball. Or there's one on defending. Lovely. I'll nick that back and not put it anywhere. Aerial. Yeah, he gets physical contact to 70. That's quite nice. Yeah, I think the one place that really is dribbling where they put quite a lot of points. But do you want to dip below 90 on the ball control and dribbling? No, I don't think you do. I think really the auto allocation as an attack midfielder is just fine. As an SS, I think the one thing you might want to do is try and nick some points, maybe some passing for just to get his finishing up. You could nick a couple of dexterity, but it'd be a shame, and you're going to go past that mark where it goes from. When you get to 85 unboosted, you see it's on 85 unboosted. That's where it starts going up by 3 instead of 2. So we're going to lose 3 points if we go down by 2 on dexterity. I don't think that's worth it. No, I'm gonna just undo that. So yeah, I think passing is the one place. So you could nick a few points just to get that finishing up a bit. I was thinking maybe we could try and get the finishing up to 80, but I'm not sure you can really. But I would probably do that as an SS, because if you play him as an SS, whole player especially, he's going to be making those attacking runs. You need him to be quite good at finishing. Yes, he's got long range curl, long range shooting, but the finishing is not brilliant. We can at least improve it by a few points there, albeit we scrimped a bit on the passing, which is not ideal. So yeah, like I say again, it isn't an amazing card. It's not going to be one of the better ones in the pack. And there's not a lot of scope for shuffling the points around to strengthen him in the areas where he needs to be strengthened, which in the case of an SS is finishing, and obviously AMF it would be nice to boost 1 or 2 areas, but yeah, you could still be a pretty decent option as an AMF or an SS. In terms of other positions, wide right or wide left, has he got crossing? No, he's not got pinpoint crossing, has he? You could give him pinpoint crossing and he'd have an alright cross on him, but I'm not sure that's where you're going to get the best value out of this guy. It certainly is an option. He's got a decent amount of pace, balance. He is pretty nice on the ball. Lofted pass at least over the 80 mark. Curl not far off. So if you gave him pinpoint crossing as a right midfielder, putting crossing, he could be all right. I think most people, if you have the position trains to spare, you could probably find that this guy would be most valuable as a left winger, coming onto his right foot. He's got long range curler again and long range shooting. He's got the passing skills. So if you took a few back off passing there, I think this passing like that is fine as a wide man. On the ball, we'll leave that. How many points have freed up here? Oh, we freed up a few. We can get his finishing up to 80 this way. Well, that'd be nice to give him a bit more speed. So I'll do a couple of builds then. So initially, in terms of the end product, the passing and finishing from wide man will be decent. So we're looking at him as a wide left player. If we were going to use the position trainers, whether you only need one or whether you need 1,000, who knows. But if you use the position trainers, you made him wide left player, either a left midfielder with a whole player playing style, which I think would be pretty nice, or without an active playing style as a left wing forward, tidy on the ball, bit of end product with the passing and shooting, the attacking awareness. In fact, if you were going to use him as a wide left forward, I was saying this about someone in Player of the Week, I think, in the Player of the Week review this morning. Just put him wide left and then change his position to SS. Have him as a wide left SS, and then the playing style whole player will be active. I think it'd work pretty well there. I've done that with whole players in the past. It works pretty nicely for me. So that if that's the case, you don't need a position trainer actually, as long as you're going to use him as a wide forward instead of a wide midfielder. So yeah, as an SS wide on the left, cutting inside onto his right foot, bit of end product with the passing and shooting, tidy on the ball. Just maybe he's lacking a little bit of speed there, really. But it could be pretty effective there. But if you wanted to boost that speed up a bit, and if you think you can get away with the finishing being a bit lower, if we can just get the speed up by 2, you can get to the 88 mark on speed, 90 mark on kicking power. There's another 2 points left over. I'll just stick them straight back on shooting. Yeah, that might be a preferable build, to be honest, because then again, you've hit that mark on speed where it goes up by 2 when you get to the 85 mark unboosted. So it's gone up straight from 86 to 88. So yeah, 88 speed and acceleration, kick about 90. They've got a pretty nice balance, tidy on the ball. The passing and the finish will be decent. The finishing not quite as good this way, but it's not a big deduction. I think it's just as long as you're careful enough with his finishing. You've got long range shooting. He's got long range curler. I think wide left, either as a wide left forward if you set him as an SS to get that whole player playing style active. I think using him that way, he could be pretty nice. Left midfield if you're position training for it. Again, whole player will be active. Coming onto his right foot could be pretty nice that way as well. And like we initially saw as an attack midfielder or maybe as an SS, I think he could be tidy there. I don't think in any position this is going to be an amazing card, but he should be pretty decent. I forget if it was on eFootball, the early days of eFootball, or maybe the kind of towards the end of my club. I did have a version of Vlašić at one point. I forget what kind of version it was, but he was pretty nice. He was just pretty tidy. He's kind of just about as he looks here, to be honest. He's no better or worse really than he looks here. He's this kind of a player where he's just kind of technically tidy, got a little bit of nip about him, a little bit of pace and stuff. And yeah, I think what you're going to get with this card, if you get it from this pack, you've got a tidy card. Is it an amazing one? No, but with all the cards in this pack, they're all obviously usable in the Italian League Challenge because it's an Italian League pack. So as an option for the Italian League Challenge, whether it's through the middle as a kind of number 10, as a right midfielder, switch him over to the left as a wide left SS, as a wide left forward inverted winger, could be very nice like that as well. I think there's a few ways you could use him, and he might have been an amazing card, but I think if you do get him, you could have a pretty tidy card in your hands, certainly very usable. And next up is Adam Marušić. It's got the same thingy over the S as Vlašić does, so I'm assuming you say it the same way. He has a face scan, plays for Lazio. We've got an attacking fullback. He can play right back or left back. He can also play pretty much anywhere out wide, and you could position train him for centre back as well. I wonder if he's going to be another sneaky centre back. Only standard form. Skill wise, interception, arguably the most important one in a fullback. We could do with a few more though. Depends how you're going to use him, but as an attacking fullback, certainly you want probably pinpoint crossing. And on the defensive side, I think man marking block would be very much desirable. Aerial superiority is a nice bonus on the fullback. He's 6'1" as well, so he should be pretty decent in the air for a fullback. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll see how good he is on the whole. Where are we? eFootball Hub. So get him all trained up and boosted. He's decent looking. He's not too bad. So we've had just one version of Marušić in the past. That was a Player of the Week card. Wasn't quite as good overall. The points kind of shuffled around a bit here and there. But this is slightly better than that card. Obviously, you can train this one as well. From his GP card, most attributes have gone up by about 2. There's a few they put up by just 1, or some that haven't boosted at all for level 1. But the ones that boosted the most, they've actually put 5 points on. A lofted pass, that's a good one for an attacking fullback. but also defensive awareness, defensive engagement, and aggression all up by 5 as well at level 1. So they're boosting defensively. That's good. So yeah, on the whole, I mean, it'd be nice if they boosted his tackling a bit more to get up to the 80 mark. That's a bit of a shame. But yeah, on the whole, obviously very much an attacking fullback, but he's got a bit of physical strength about him, and he can defend, just that tackling's a bit low. So on the whole, I think he's a decent looking fullback. What I always do, if you've been watching my videos, you know by now, is I personally feel like they put way too many points on the lower body on fullbacks. Obviously they know what they're doing because it's their game at the end of the day, but I just don't feel once you get beyond 90 that the increase in speed is going to be that noticeable that it's really going to be worth putting the points there, depending on how many points have been put there. And in this example, and in the case of a lot of other fullbacks, when you get to that 12 mark on any of these groups of attributes, the next increase is going to be up by 4. So these last 2 attribute increases on lower body have cost 4 points each. You take just 2 from there, you get 8 points to play with. You're still on 93 speed, 94 stamina. You don't need that many points in there, not in my opinion. I don't think, sure, if you go from 92, 93 up to like 98, 99, you will notice a bit of difference, but is it that much of a difference that it's worth all the points it would take? Not for me. And to be honest, I would nick a few more even beyond that. I'll go right the way down there, and then we'll see where we can beef him up elsewhere to try and make him even better. I mean, to be honest, I'll be quite tempted to go all up to 12 in dexterity and give him the acceleration because the balance goes up a bit. The balance isn't great. He's still got 5 points left. Get the low pass to 80. Get one more on the ball. I think just that would probably be worth it, to be honest. Now we've got 1 point left. That's annoying. Goalkeeper won't make him jump a bit more. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that. It's a shame his tackling's not at the 80 mark. It would have taken a few points. If you're happy enough with the dexterity, you could nick a few back off dexterity, and you could quite easily get his tackling up to 80. Do that instead. That might be preferable. The balance was a concern for me, but that does make him a lot stronger defensively. There's a few ways you could do it, but I think on the whole, as a fullback, you've got a reasonable card here. It's not an amazing one, certainly, but I think it's certainly one that could do the job for you. Again, for the Italian League Challenge, could well be a very useful one. He can play on the right and left. Reasonably two-footed. He doesn't have outside curler, but even without outside curler, he's like I say, he's reasonably two-footed. So he could play on the left as well. If you wanted to use him as a defensive fullback, let's take these points back off these. In fact, let's go for an all-out defensive build. How can we make him an absolute thug of a defensive fullback? No, not really. I mean, we can make him all right. Got 2 more points. Where are they going to go? There. Yeah, I don't know. Certainly strong enough. Again, I think like with him as an attacking fullback, is he good? Yeah, he's quite good. Is he amazing? No, he's just kind of solid and can do a job for you. So if you could train him that way as a defensive fullback, put the defensive instruction on him, hold him back, he could do a job for you that way. It'd be even more important. So I'm giving you those 1 or 2 defensive skills. Man marking, block would be the 2 I'd start with. But certainly you could make him a very capable fullback defensively if you were going to put the instruction on him. I'll give him those defensive skills even as an attacking fullback, to be honest. I think they're quite important. And like I say, pinpoint crossing, especially as an attacking fullback, is an important one when he gets forward. But yeah, he's fairly solid both ways. In terms of other positions, let's just start as a winger. Go for auto allocation first, see what it says. So can you make him a decent winger? Meh. He looks all right. Again, if we nick some points off lower body, then we'll nick that one off defending as well. Can you make him a bit better? I mean, you're not going to make his finishing any good. We'll take those 4 points back. There's no point putting him on there. Yeah, he's not great, is he? Yeah, you can make him all right. Maybe you could do a kind of all-round build as a wing-back or something, but are these attributes that going forward are going to be good enough to really make it worthwhile using him as a winger? No. Has he got any skills going forward? No. I think it's a bit of a waste as a winger. I think you've very much got someone here who's a fullback. But as I mentioned, he's got centre-back. I've not looked at, can you make him a sneaky centre-back? My guess is no. I reckon his tackling is not going to be quite high enough. Yep, that's exactly as I predicted. So, sneaky centre-back, maybe. Down the left, pretty nice for centre-back. Down the middle, good. And then tackling 85, highly iffy. For me, that tackling is not high enough. That's the one thing that lets him down, really. Physical contact, you can get away with that. Jumping 80, it's got aerial superiority, 6'1". You could get away with them in the air, but do you really want a centre-back you can just about get away with in the air when people have got the new bullet-headed collar, Darwin Nunez, whoever else, Drogba? Yeah, I'm not sure many people fancy that. Good pace for centre-back, but yeah, there's one or two weaknesses there, but the main ones are tackling. You do have the option there. You need a bunch of skills there, I think, all things considered. Probably just about nobody's going to want to use this guy as a centre-back, but you do have the option if you really wanted to do that, if you really don't like him as a full-back. But as a full-back, I'll just leave him on auto-allocation. Like I say, solid. Whether you go with the auto-allocation, a lot of people would. You know, you can get by defensively, you can get by technically. Certainly got some pace there. Whether you shuffle the points around the way I did, either as an attacking full-back or as a defensive full-back. He's not an amazing card, but he's certainly got some qualities. Could maybe do with 1-2 skills, but if nothing else, just for the Italian League challenges, an option you can play on either flank. He could be used for one. I couldn't say he's much better than he is for one, but he's certainly not a bad one. And next we have a Stefan Posch. So we have a defensive fullback, right back, but this guy's been talked about as expected because he is one of these glitch centre backs. He's one of the classic glitch centre backs on eFootball. You can train him as a centre back, and he's very good on his GP card. And this is obviously a highlight card, which suggests it's going to be even better. He's got a face guy, he's got unwavering form as well. Got a decent selection of skills to start off with, even as a centre back. To be honest, as a fullback, he could do with maybe he's on 2 passing skills, but certainly defensively on a defensive fullback, that's what's most important. Of course, you got man marking, you got interception blocker, you've also got aerial superiority, acrobatic clearance. He could do with maybe his fighting spirit, maybe a sliding tackle, but yeah, you got a bunch of very good defensive skills there. But let's just get straight over to eFootball Hub. We'll see how good this Stefan Posch card is. So where is eFootball Hub? It is here. Right, so we'll start off as a right back. You max him out, boost him up, pretty tidy. Obviously, this is a defensive fullback, so down the left there, not going to be brilliant. He's a tall guy, he's a defensive guy. You're not going to expect this guy to be too great on the ball. But if you do like a defensive fullback and you're not really worried about these attributes being particularly high, defensively pretty strong, bit of physical strength, balance isn't too bad for a defensive fullback. Stamina is outstanding, speed's good, acceleration's passable. As long as the speed's over 90, I can handle mid-80s on acceleration. This is a good solid defensive fullback. That might not be the way most people want to use this guy, which sounds a bit strange considering that's literally his playing style and position. But obviously, like I say, a lot of people are looking at this guy as a centre-back. But as a defensive fullback, if you like a defensive fullback, it's not too often you get good defensive fullbacks. This is a good one. He's got a really good selection of defensive skills right out of the box. And looking at the attributes, very nice. I mean, again, the lower body up to 14. You can take just 2 off there. And you freed up 8 points there. I mean, you could put them anywhere you want. You can make them a bit better technically, but if you really want him to be a defensive fullback, you're more concerned about just the defensive ability, you can just increase his area by 4. There are 86 physical contact on a fullback. Very, very nice. Yeah, very interesting. He's going to be very good in the air as well for a fullback. If for whatever reason your opponent's got a big, tall left winger, I often play Rafael left wing, and I've actually got mine. I've given mine aerial superiority, so. If you're ever playing against me, this guy would be great for you because I spam a lot of long balls to my left winger when I've got Leo on the pitch. But yeah, defensive fullback, very, very, very useful. Could be a very decent option for you. But I'm just going to get straight to what most people are thinking about, and that is training this guy as a centre back. And I'll just briefly touch on the other version we've had of him because it's not the first version we've had of Posch. We've had a previous one in an Italian League pack in the past. That was a centre back card. He was an extra front man. It was not as good as a centre-back or a right-back as this one, so this is definitely an upgrade on that one. But another one we've had, the other version of Posch that we've had, highlight card, was in, I think it was International Guardians, some kind of legend box with some kind of legends from national teams, defensive players. Very similar to this card. If anything, the only real difference is that this one is slightly better as a centre-back, as you're about to see, but that one from that legend box is ever so slightly better as a right-back, but there's not a massive difference. So if you already got that version of him, that highlight card of Posch, in my personal opinion, you do not need to waste your coins spinning this pack because there's very little difference. But I will get to it, and we'll see how good he is. I'll start with the auto-allocation as a centre-back, and as you can see, he is quite good. Down the left, he's fine for a centre-back. Down the middle, he's very strong. Down the right, pretty decent pace. He's got just about enough physical strength there. Jumping's not amazing, but he's got aerial superiority. He's about 6'3". He's even just right away on auto allocation, as you can see. He is a pretty strong centre back. From his GP card, interestingly, it's another mixed boost. A lot of these cards they've mixed the boost up quite a bit. His attributes are mostly boosted from 0 to 4, but they put 6 points on tight possession, acceleration, and interestingly defensive awareness. So they've gone +6 on defensive awareness, which is great. So as you can see, this is a very nice version of Posch to be used as a centre. Whether they've given him that kind of a boost and just put him in the pack because they want to give us a sneaky, a very good sneaky centre back card, I don't know, but that's definitely what you've got here as a sneaky centre back. This guy is very good. as you probably expect, if you watch me train these types of cards before, I don't think you need those defenses to be quite that high. Obviously, if you like the build as it is, you think that's the most important area, you think everywhere else is high enough, you can leave it like that, and you've got a very nice centre back. As you can see, eFootball Hub's telling you they're 101 rated. It's a very good centre back card, this, if you train him this way. But for me personally, just to give you a slightly different build, if I just take 3 off defending me, you could take 4 off even. Depends if you want that aggression at 90. We'll just take 3 off for now, so they're all 90 plus. You can get the physical contact up to 90. We could call in our good old friend goalkeeper 1, get 4 on goalkeeper 1, 4 on jumping. I mean, 5 points left. You can get that 1 last increase in aerial actually, and then 2 points left. Ooh, we could put them anywhere we want. To be honest, you don't need that last increase in lower body. That'll give us 2 points, so we can make them a bit better technically. Get more 70 plus on the ball. Lovely. No, I'll just put those last 2 back on lower body actually. Yeah, I would probably do something like that. So you can keep him 90 plus on all his defensives, but you can get the physical contact over 90, you get the jumping up to 92. So we've got a nice increase on jumping. Jumping height, 200, it's got over 280. So we've got 281.1 centimeters jumping height. That's good. Obviously, with the way the game is right now, a lot of people are spamming crosses. A lot of people have got the likes of Collar, Drogba, Nunez, whoever it is up front, putting a lot of crosses into the box. It helps to have a centre-back who's got some height, he's got some vertical reach on him, and he can have some pretty good vertical reach on this guy, but he's also very good defensively. He's got pretty decent pace as well. He's got very good balance for a centre-back, which you tend to get from a player you've kind of trained from full-back to centre-back. And down the left, you can get them all 70 plus. Whether you think it's worth it, I don't know, but he's okay technically as well. So on the whole, what you got here, you've got a very good centre-back card. Like I say, and when we started with the auto allocation, he's actually a pretty solid defensive right-back as well. So if you really want defensive fullback, by all means, you could use him that way. You have a very good card. But as a centre back, certainly, the only real downside is that some people don't like a centre back who doesn't have an active playing style. He will not have an active playing style if you're playing as a centre back. If that's an issue for you, then obviously his card won't appeal to you. But for a lot of people, that's not an issue. It doesn't really bother me. I've had plenty of success using centre backs, using players at centre back without a playing style. I've got the original legend Tomiyasu. I've used Dan Burn as a centre back. I've used Posch. I've got Posch's GP card as a centre back. Speaking of which, if you've got a previous version of Posch, I don't know when exactly all the updates were, because his GP card, like most GP cards, it's been updated and kind of tweaked here and there. It's been a centre back at times in the past, but his current GP card is not as good as a centre back as you'd expect. But the previous version of his GP card was actually pretty close to this. I think that's the version I've got. I'm not 100% certain, but there was a version of him until the most recent update, I think, of his GP card that you could train as a centre back that was fairly similar to this. So if you got that version of his GP card, you might not really need this one. But otherwise, yeah, it's obviously a nice boost from his GP card. And it's a very good centre back. Looking at the skills, as I mentioned at the start, when we looked at his skills, he's got a pretty good selection: heading and aerial, then man mark, insertion, block, acrobatic clearance. In terms of what you want to add, fighting spirit, I think would be a very useful one to have on him. It's useful on most players, fighting spirit. Maybe sliding tackle if you do a lot of sliding tackles. I personally never really bother doing sliding tackles, so I don't tend to put sliding tackle on players. But yeah, fighting spirit. And then I think beyond that, I'd probably go for a few passing skills, to be honest. Maybe one touch through. Outside curler, actually. Outside curler is one that I think often we don't really think about on centre-backs, but he's quite one-footed. You don't want to be twisting and turning when you're being pressured by the opponent in defence with your centre-back and end up playing a pass off balance, playing it awkwardly and misplacing it or whatever. So outside curler can help on defenders if they're one-footed, as Posch is. So yeah, I think for me, fighting spirit, outside curler, and then maybe on to passing skills. Weighted pass is nice, one-touch pass, through passing maybes. But he's got a pretty good selection skills to start off with, and like I say, whether you go like I have there, beef him up physically and more importantly aerially, or if you just go with the auto allocation as a centre back and just having really strong defensively, either way, this is, as a lot of people are expecting, a very good centre back if you train him this way. But again, you can also use him as a defensive right back, and if you don't want to do the glitchy centre back thing, it's a very solid defensive right back as well. So a couple of ways you could use this card. And it's just about the best version of Posch. Like I say, the previous highlight card from some kind of legend defenders box, very, very, very similar. If you got that, I don't think you really need this one. But outside of that, yeah, it's about as good as you're going to get from Posch. It's a very, very good version of him. And both ways you can use him, sneaky centre back or as a right back. I think it's a very good card. And next we've got a goalkeeper. We've got Wladimiro Falcone. That's a very nice first name. This guy has a face scan, plays for Lecce, defensive goalkeeper, unwavering form. He has penalty saver, but he's got nothing with his distribution. No long throw, low punt, high punt. But yeah, let's just get over to eFootball. We'll see how good he actually is. And what's important is these attributes down the middle. He's all right. He's not amazing. He's quite big. He's about 6'5". The awareness is obviously great. Reflexes are okay-ish. I'd like him to be at the 90 mark. Reach 86 is not brilliant. He is quite tall, so that evens itself out. So he's got okay reach. Catching is iffy. That's not great. He's not going to be keeping hold of a lot of things. Parring's okay. So yeah, it's not the most exciting goalkeeper card. They've got a few points we can nick from around here. I mean, his distribution's not great, and he's not, like, as I mentioned, he's not got any skills for his distribution. So be careful with his distribution, especially if you play a back pass to him. He's got the ball at his feet. I would just lob it downfield, just blast it, get rid. We can free up 5 points there. You can nick a couple of awareness. I think it's worth it. Leave it at the 90 mark. Try and beef him up a bit elsewhere. Get that increase from 86 to 88 on reach. 8 left. We can go a couple higher on reflex to get to 90. 2 left. Which jumpy to 78, so we'll put those two on aerial, get his jumper to the 80 mark. That's nice. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. It's not an amazing goalie card. He's quite big. Awareness and reflexes are pretty good. Reach is alright. Parrying decent. Catching a bit iffy. It's not a bad goalkeeper by any means, but it's not the most exciting one either. I think it's just a kind of a fairly solid goalie card. So for me, this is one that, you know, if you're new to the game, obviously it could be a very decent goalkeeper option. Otherwise, might just be a decent goalkeeper option to keep hold of for the Italian League Challenge. In any given week, you might find he's your only goalkeeper from the Italian League who's got form, in which case he could certainly do a job for you. But it's not an amazing card. It's certainly not on the level of some of the Player of the Week goalkeepers we've been getting recently. So not a bad one, not an amazing one, just a kind of fairly solid, fairly okay goalkeeper card. And next up is Yacine Adli from Fiorentina, who this time is a centre midfield orchestrator. He's not always been centre mid, he's been an attacking midfielder once or twice before. He's got a face scan, only got standard form. Skill-wise, got through passing down there. No one-touch pass, could do with one-touch pass. He's got interception, so we'll see how good his stats are. But interception, if you play him as a centre mid, certainly could be useful. He's got DMF as a position. I'm not sure he'll be good enough for that, but yeah, he got one or two important skills there. I think one-touch pass is the one that stands out that he's really going to need. But let's jump over to eFootball, have a look at how good his attributes are when he's all trained up. So, well, he's certainly good in some areas. He's got fantastic passing. He's tidy on the ball as well. Bit of a mixed bag though, because he's not great defensively. So it's going to be a question of where you're going to use this guy. Looking at our previous versions we've had of Adli, I've had a couple of Player of the Week cards. Neither of them as high rated as this one, but the stats are shuffled around a little bit. It really depends which stats are most important to you. Depending on which stats are most important to you, one or both of those Player of the Week cards, you might find around about the same level as this guy, but certainly in terms of the overall rating, overall ability, this one's got the edge just about. And if you look at the best trainables, there's one from some kind of Legend box, or maybe a Showtime box, and there's one from some kind of Milan pack at some point as well. If you train all the cards as an attacking midfielder, this new one here has a bit more acceleration and balance and defensive ability, but otherwise not a lot of difference. And if you train all the cards as a centre midfielder, this new version has a bit more passing, a bit more physical contact and balance. So yeah, this is a good version of like Yacine Adli. It's a question of, you know, what position you want to use this guy in. What they boost from his GP cards is mainly his speeds had 7 points added at level 1, physical contacts had 8 added, balances had 7. Outside of that, it's a bit of another one where it's all mixed. They're all kind of between 2 and 5, the amount of points they put on a level 1, but certainly the speed, physical contact and balance are the biggest boosts. And yeah, it just depends where you want to use this guy, because certainly, as you can see, technically that's where he's best, and you kind of expect that with Adli. He's very much a playmaker. Let's just start from defensive mid and we'll work our way up. I'm going to see what the auto allocation says. So auto allocation is telling us as a defensive midfielder, yeah, it's basically saying you could get away with him in a double pivot, but he's not going to be amazing. That to me looks like a decent card in a double pivot. If he's got at least one other midfielder alongside him doing a lot of the defensive work, but it's not brilliant. He's not brilliant defensively. He's not got great physical strength. Stamina's a bit iffy. Yeah, I'm not sure about this guy as a DMF. I think you're going to want this guy to be further up the pitch, focusing more on his playmaking ability. If you go back to the auto allocation as a centre mid, I don't think you need that many points on his passing. He could certainly free up maybe his 4, go down to 8 on passing. On the ball, I'll probably leave that around about where it is. You could nick one off ball control, leave it at 90, but then you'd lose 2 off dribbling because it's at that mark. That that stamina concerns me. I'll be quite tempted just to put 4 on lower body. That stamina goes up to 89, which is a lot better. Get the kicking power to 90 as well. He's got 4 points on defending. Do you need them? I think the thing with the defending with this guy is a question of, is it worth it? You know, how good are you going to make him defensively? Is it worth the amount of points that it would require? As you saw just now when I looked at the DMF auto allocation, still wasn't brilliant defensively. If you really want to be competent defensively, you're gonna have to compromise quite a bit on some of the other attributes, and I don't think it's worth it. I'll probably just leave those attributes as they are. He's got interception at least as a skill. And then I'll just make sure you got at least one midfielder behind him, some kind of destroyer or anchorman doing the defensive work with the defensive ability and the physical strength, and then just free this guy up to do what he's good at, which is getting on the ball and picking a pass and playmaking, because he's clearly very decent at that. He's not got a lot of awareness either offensively or defensively. That is a bit of a concern for me. You want your players to be reacting quicker in all situations. But yeah, there's certainly qualities there. As an orchestrator, you might say the attack almost isn't overly important because he's not going to be making too many runs forward. But certainly when you do get him on the ball, I would, like I say, I would give him one touch pass, but he's got through passing already. He's got weighted pass. He could certainly pick a pass, soul control as well. He can be decent on the ball. Playmaking from D could be a decent option. Just depends on what kind of midfield shape and setup you've got. But with the ability he's got, getting on the ball technically and everything, passing, creating chances, can be very decent. As an attack midfielder, you could free up all the points off his defenses, but there's only 4. So is it worth it? I mean, I'll put him straight on dexterity, but yeah, I don't know. You could nick a couple back off lower body maybe. Get that dexterity up a bit more. Get shooting at least to the 70 mark. I think that's realistically about all you can do, really, as an attack midfielder. You do have that attack awareness up to 76 at least. If we're playing without an active playing style, he will make some forward runs. And yeah, technically still very sound, but you've only got those 4 points we've been able to free up from defending. So I don't know. I think it depends on what you want from him. If you don't fancy playing someone like Adli deep in the midfield because he's not that strong physically or defensively, then you may well look at him and think he's going to be best as an attack midfielder for you, in which case a build something like this could certainly work for you. Again, he does need one touch pass. He's got long range shooting there. Maybe could do with long range curler. His finishing's not going to be great, but yeah, he could certainly be quite decent technically. He's going to be very much a playmaker. He's not going to be someone who's bombing forward and getting into shooting positions and scoring a lot of goals for you, but getting on the ball and creating a chance as an attacking mid without an active playing style, I think he could certainly be decent. He's got a few other positions there. He could play as an SS or a wide forward. Don't know about that. Let's just see. What's the auto allocation going to tell us? We'll just put in left wing forward, see what it says. Well, certainly you can make him very decent on the ball. Very nice on the ball. Passing still certainly very decent for a wide man as well. And that's only 4 points in his passing. I think that's worth it. But attacking when 76, finishing 72. Is he going to be great as a wide forward that way? I don't know. Has he got crossing? He's not got crossing, has he? No, he's not got crossing. You could give him crossing and make him decent at crossing and have him as a right forward, or we could position train him for right midfield. I think if you're going to do that, I mean, to be honest, even any kind of wide man, I wouldn't go quite so high on the dribbling. I'll give him a bit more speed, to be honest. I mean, even then, he's not the quickest. Yeah, I don't know if I want to waste too much time talking about Adli as a winger. I don't know. End product-wise, yes. On the ball, yeah, pretty sound, but he's not the quickest. He's not got great finishing, not great attacking awareness. Are you going to look at this guy as a wide man? You could do, but I don't think he's going to give you great value as a wide man. Could be decent, certainly, but I don't know if it's worth position training him and using him in that way. As an SS, I would probably go with the attacking midfield build I did just now. I think I'd be much the same. I could certainly do a job for you there, but again, I don't think it's worth the position trains. I think you're looking at this guy primarily as either an all-rounder at centre midfield. I'll leave it on the auto allocation. Or train him as an attack midfield, just free up those few points from defending. Maybe give him a bit more dexterity, even a little bit more speed as well. But either way, I think it's a pretty straightforward one with Adli. He's very much a deep line playmaker. He's not going to be on for bursting forward and scoring a lot of goals for you. He's not got great pace, but he's technically very sound. He's got fantastic passing, depending on how you train his passing attributes. And I do think he really needs one touch pass. But if you give him one touch pass, he's already got through passing and weighted pass. Got a few decent skills there as a playmaker, either an attacker mid without an active playing style, or as a centre midfielder, depending on what kind of midfield setup you've got and whether he fits into it. He could certainly be very useful for you. Again, I don't think this is an amazing card, but he's certainly got some ability. And if you're playing to his strengths, he could be a decent one. And again, the tiny new change could well be worth keeping hold of as an option for that. But yeah, you use this guy to his strengths, he could be a very decent one. And next we have Newcastle legend Lloyd Kelly. He's an extra frontman centre-back. It's the first time I've had a feature version of him. It's hard to tell if that's a face scan. It looks so much like him. I don't know. I'll leave you to judge. But yeah, first time I've had a special version of Kelly. Only standard form. Skill-wise, one-touch pass, weighty pass, low-lofted pass. So we've got a few passing skills on him, which is nice in the centre-back. But what about the important ones? Yeah, they're not there. So we've got sliding tackle, we've got acrobatic clearance. Flying experience, a good one, but no interception, no man marking, no blocker, no aerial superiority. We are desperately lacking skills for a centre-back. And for a left-back, to be honest, same situation. Maybe not quite as important, but it's still important to get some of those defensive skills on him. So skills are a big, big issue, as is that face scan, or lack of. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub, and let's have a look at how good this Lloyd Kelly card is. It's a mixed bag. So what they've done for his GP card, at level 1, they put a few points on tight possession. They put 5 on his heading. The middle column, they boosted defensives a little bit. And down the right, a few points here and now down the right column with the athletic ones. But the big one is physical contact. They've actually put 10 points on his physical contact, which is pretty mad, really, because he's quite a strong guy, Kelly. He's definitely not lacking in physical strength as a centre-back or a full-back. But yeah, even with plus 10 in physical contact, still only 85 fully boosted, which is not amazing. So yeah, like I say, it's a mixed bag. Down the right here, certainly the pace is decent for centre-back. The aerial and physical attributes there are okay-ish, but they're a little bit questionable. But down the middle there, yes, you've got 3 over 90, but that defensive engagement at 82, that scares me. He's an extra frontman as well. I'm not personally a fan of that. It's all personal preference, of course. If you like an extra frontman, good for you, but an extra frontman from centre-back will go wandering forward quite a bit. And I don't want my centre-back, to be wandering forward and vacating their position, especially with that engagement being low. This guy is going to get caught out of position. That scares me a bit. So yeah, there are some real concerns with this guy. He's desperately lacking skills. Defensive engagement is horrible. He's not brilliant with the physical strength or the aerial ability. And yeah, on the whole, as a centre-back, I really couldn't recommend him. I'd only be getting him in my team. Even for my Newcastle past and present squad, I'm not too keen on this card. But he does have one other position, the left back. Could you get some use out of him as a left back? Maybe. So obviously the engagement's still a little on the low side, but certainly the awareness, tackling, and aggression defensively pretty strong. How many points to put on defending? 8. Down the left, not brilliant, but I think it goes without saying. If you play this guy as a left back, you're going to be using him as a defensive left back. If you can spare the defensive instruction to hold him back and make sure he plays that way, then I think he can be pretty effective. The pace, I think, is fine. It's not brilliant for acceleration, but he's a big, tall guy, 6'3", and the speed at 92 is very good. Stamina at 90. He's got physical strength in the air. He should be decent. 6'3", 82 jumping, bit of physical strength. He will win his fair share of headers, even without aerial superiority. Yes, the balance isn't great, but again, he's a big, tall guy. You expect that. So yeah, as a left back, he would be very much a defensive fullback for you. I think you can get some use out of him, but even as a fullback, like I said at the start, skills are an issue. Interception, man marking, blocker, those are the skills defensively you really need to put on this guy. As a centre-back, you need aerial superiority as well. But if you do give him the skills, certainly I think as a left-back, if you use him as a very defensive left-back, he could definitely do a job for you. But as a centre-back, to be honest, I'd have to be biased as given he's he's not a former Newcastle player yet, but he's probably going to join Juventus permanently at the end of his loan. I would love to say he's great, and I'd love to spin his back and put him in my Newcastle past and present squad, but honestly, even for me, with the Newcastle bias, he's just not great as a centre-back. I'll leave him on auto allocation here. That engagement's horrible. Aerial and physical, I'd like a bit more on those, and he's desperately lacking skills. So there's some big concerns with this guy. I don't think I can really recommend him as a centre-back, but as a left-back, albeit a very defensive left-back, if you did give him 1 or 2 skills, I think he could be a decent option there. But yeah, this is not one of the more exciting cards in this pack, unfortunately. Next up is Big Rom. We've got another Lukaku card. He's back to Fox in the Box. We had a few Player of the Week cards of his this season, but they've been deep-lying forwards. Unwavering form, that's probably fair these days. He's on A form at the moment. He's doing well for Napoli this season. Skill-wise, pretty much what you expect from Lukaku. We've got long-range curler there, acrobatic finishing, first-time shot, one-touch pass is nice, outside curler, track back, fighting spirit, cool. Yeah, it's a shame he's not got heading, to be honest. It'd be nice if he had heading. Big physical guy, but let's jump over to eFootball Hub and let's just see how good this Lukaku card is. It's quite decent. Yeah, decent card. So, as I mentioned, we've had a couple of Player of the Week cards this season with Lukaku, both deep lying forwards. The one key difference is that both those Player of the Week cards have much better passing than this one. This card has rubbish passing. Those two deep line forward Player of the Week cards are much better at passing. Apart from that, no massive difference really. In terms of his other Player of the Week cards, there's a goal poacher card a while back. Not quite as good as this one in terms of his ability. We've had several Fox in the Box Player of the Week cards. They tend to have better passing. They tend to have a little bit more physical contact, but this card has a bit more acceleration and balance. That's your key difference between this card and the Player of the Week Fox in the Box ones. In terms of trainable versus Lukaku, they always seem to be Fox in the Box. And this one's about the same level as the best of them, to be honest. A couple of ones from Legend boxes. One, I think, from some kind of Roma pack. So this is up there with the better trainables. It's a good version of Lukaku. What they've done for his GP card, they put 5 on all 3 of his on-the-ball attributes. So ball control, dribbling and tight possession, all +5 at level 1. Acceleration's gone +6 at level 1. That's good. Acceleration boost on Lukaku is very welcome. 4 and jumping as well at level 1. Apart from that, everything's up from 1 or 2, except for one or two attributes haven't been increased at all. For example, attacking awareness, but that's just about hitting the 90 mark, fully boosted. So I think that's okay. Finishing likewise. So yeah, on the whole, I think what you got here is a very solid Fox in the Box card. The passing is a bit dodgy, but they boost him a bit on the ball. Put a little bit on his jumping. The acceleration boost is very welcome. He's got very nice kicking power. He's going to have a nice shot on him. He's got great physical strength as well. Yeah, I think what you got is a very solid Fox in the Box, to be honest. He's got a good section of skills. As I mentioned when we were looking at his skills. Oh, goalkeeper long throw. Excellent. I wonder when eFootball was going to fix that. Yeah, as I mentioned when we were looking at his skills in-game, heading I think is well worth giving him. You might not spam crosses, but there will be opportunities to win a header with him. And sometimes you've just got to win a ball in the air with your strikers. And he's very physically strong. Yes, the jumping's not great. His vertical reach is not brilliant, 267. But that physical strength will allow him to win a few headers. You could even give him aerial superiority as well. So yeah, heading, maybe even aerial superiority, I think would be worth putting on him. He's got one touch pass. I'll consider giving him through passing as well, though, to improve his passing, because his passing sucks on this card. And passing, in my experience, on a Fox in the Box, they will sometimes kind of just step back and kind of be available for a ball into their feet. And I do like my Fox in the Box strikers to be better on the ball. The on the ball attributes are all okay for Lukaku, but the passing, like I say, is the concern. To be honest, even with the boost on the ball, he's still not brilliant. For a very big, heavy guy, you probably won't feel he's that great in possession of the ball. But yeah, certainly in terms of the important ones, the awareness and finishing, the pace is decent. For a big physical guy, 88 speed, 88 acceleration, doesn't always have that acceleration. Kicking power is great. That physical contact 92, you can actually nick a couple off the aerial points, but you're only going to get 2 points because they've only put 4 on there, so I don't know if it's really worth it. Yeah, all in all, I don't think I'll change a great deal. You want an all-rounder, Fox in the Box up front. Like I say, there's 1 and 2 skills I think would be worth putting on him, and I think it's a pretty good version of Lukaku. I think the only other way you could possibly build him is you could make him a bit more of an aerial threat. I was just thinking there, because they've only put 4 on aerial, so if we were to take a couple off shooting, we'll just leave it at the 88 mark on finishing and attacking awareness. We can afford to lose a bit of acceleration. He's a big, heavy guy. He's not exactly been the most... the most responsive anyways. We're losing some balance, but his balance is pretty bad already anyways. So we'll just go down to 88 on attacking awareness as well. We've freed up 12 points there. Can we make him particularly good in the air? I'm just going to go to 8 on aerial. And because if we go to 9 on aerial, that's about as far as you can get, and you're left on 77 jumping. Go to 8 on aerial, you can get 4 on goalkeeper 1. I know I'm obsessed with goalkeeper 1, but if you do want that jumping you want that jump to get that jumping a bit higher, I think it's a very useful attribute to increase. So you've got his jumping up to 272. It's not amazing, but he's physically very strong. If you're going to go for an aerial build on this Lukaku card, if you gave him heading, and more important, if you gave him aerial superiority with that physical strength, the jumping at 80 isn't, it might not be brilliant, but he's going to win a lot of headers. Physical contact is very important winning headers. Heading at 84, jumping at 80, physical contact 96. You give him the aerial skills. If you're going to put a lot of crosses in, he could be very decent. So that's one other option you do have with this card. But as I mentioned previously, I think with that auto allocation, if you like an all-rounder, if you fancy a Lukaku card, a bit of pace, which you don't always get with a big physical guy, but certainly he is a big physical guy as well. The awareness and the finishing, I think it's a fairly nice boost they've given him. This is a good version of Lukaku. It's a good card, this. especially for the Italian League Challenge as a striker option, but just in general, if you like a big physical fox in the box, I think even though his passing's not brilliant, whether you go for the all-round build or if you go for a kind of more of a physical aerial build, I think it could be a very tidy card to have and a very useful striker. And next up, we have Zieliński, who's at Inter Milan these days. So we've got a whole player centre midfielder. He has a phrase scan, of course. He can play attacking mid as well, and left mid, right mid. Got a few positions you can position train him for if you want to. He's very two-footed. That's always nice. Unwavering form as well. Skill-wise, got a decent selection. You see, we've got one touch passing, through passing down there. Outside curl is always a nice one to have. He doesn't really need it because he's two-footed. And then with the shooting, first-time shot, long-range shooting, dipping shot, long-range curler. So he's got a bunch of shooting and passing skills. Very nice. Let's jump over to eFootball though. How good is this Zieliński card? It is pretty decent. So when you look at the overall rating, I'll just start initially by comparing to his Player of the Week card, because he had one Player of the Week card that was in a kind of international week. That card obviously was quite good, but it wasn't as good as this one. In any position you train this card for, he's going to come out slightly better than that Player of the Week card. But the one thing that Player of the Week card did have was they boosted him in the air. So they boosted his heading and jumping. They gave him the heading and aerial superiority skills as well. So if you ever wanted a Zieliński card that's good in the air, that was the one. But apart from that, like I say, this card is better in just about any position you train him for. But if you look at the trainable versions previously that we've had of Zieliński, it's interesting because the best ones, even the best trainable versions we had previously, don't quite get as good as this one in terms of the overall ability and the overall rating. But it's interesting because it's not just about the overall rating. I mean, it never is in this game. You've always got to look at all the individual stats. You can't just look at the overall rating and then assume that's going to tell you how good the player is. What they've done with his GP card is they have done a very mixed boost. They put 5 points on tight possession. But other than that, the only significant boost is physical contact. And then they put 4 on all of his defensive attributes except defensive engagement, which has got 6 on it. So they boost him defensively and physically. And that is why his rating goes a bit higher than previous, the best previous trainable versions. So if you look at the previous trainable versions of Zieliński, and you kind of train them up in a centre mid, attacking mid, or as a wide midfielder, and you compare them to this card, yes, this guy's got the better defenses and physicals, and the overall rating goes a bit higher. But if you look at the other attributes, which might be more important for you, the technicals, the attacking skills, it's not really that much difference. So those highest rate ones previously, including the one that's in Match Pass, I've got that one, is in my inbox still. Like I say, pretty similar. It looks like overall rating is higher on this one, and it is, but it's because they're giving him a boost defensively. So if you're going to use this guy in any kind of attacking role and you don't really care about the defensive side of things, if you've got one of those previous trainable versions, whether it's the Match Pass one or one of the other ones, then you won't need this one. You'd only really need this one. If you've got one of those versions, then it's only if you wanted to use him as more of an all-rounder and you actually want it to be better at defending. So it's just something to keep in mind. He's not actually the best version necessarily. But like I say, it depends how you're going to use him. So if you did want a kind of all-round build, obviously he's a centre midfielder, so with auto allocation, that's what the game's doing. It's building him as a centre midfielder. And as you can see, he's well into the 70s in all these defensive attributes. So it's nice to have a bit of defensive ability on a centre midfielder, albeit he's a whole player. He's going to be bursting forward a lot. And he's going to be more about getting forward than defending. And he doesn't have any defensive skills. So is it worth training him that way? Are you going to use this guy as an all-rounder in the middle of the park? It's entirely up to you. I personally wouldn't. If I'm going to have someone in the middle of the park, right in the centre of my midfield, I want them to be able to do a bit of everything. Yes, get on the ball and pass the ball, but I also want my midfielders to be able to do the defensive work and have a bit of physical strength on them. Just depends on what you want. Like I say, if you're okay with a centre mid having just a little bit of defensive ability like that, I would give him interception at least, but he could certainly do a job for you that way. But I think most people would probably want to use this guy as more of an attacking player, make the most of not just his ability, but that whole player playing style as well, because that will be active in the other positions he's got, all of his positions, to be honest, that he's fully proficient in. Left mid, right mid, attacking mid, as well as centre mid. Before I do that, just to illustrate, I will at least train him as a DMF just to see what it says. Yeah, I mean, it's like with Adli. I mean, you lose so much of the ability going forward. He's still not great. Still not got great physical strength. He's not amazing defensively. Would you do that? No active playing style DMF. Very average for me. I don't think it's worth doing at all. So like I say, centre midfield, if you like that build, a bit of an all-round, a bit of defensive ability, for sure that could work for you. But if you wanted a more attacking build, as I expect most people probably would, if you go to auto allocations, attacking mid, that takes just about all the defending points away. It leaves 1 on defending, which is great, but I'll take that back. Thank you. Yeah, as you can see, tidy on the ball, very decent passing, finishing's all right. He's got those shooting skills though, so his shooting should be decent enough. Long range curl, long range shooting, and first time shot there, and dipping shot if you like that kind of thing. Attacking awareness is good, going into the 80s for a whole player is good. On the right, they see he's got pretty decent pace, kicking power 90, so he's going to have some power behind his shots. A little bit of physical strength still, even with 0 points on aerial. Balance is not brilliant, but it could be worse, and decent stamina. Yeah, it's not a bad build that as an attacking midfielder. It'd be nice if we can get the passing up to the 90 mark. We would need 3 points from somewhere. I'm not sure where he'd really get them from. Be a shame to lose the kicking power and to lose that double increase from 86 to 88 in speed. So you could even take a couple off dexterity. That gives you 1. You could just do that. In fact, you only need to take 1 off dexterity, didn't you? Because you got that 1 from defending, yeah. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that. Nice to get to the 90 mark on the passing. He's got 1-touch passing, through passing. His finishing will be decent with the shooting skills he's got. Tidy in the ball. As a whole player attack midfielder, pretty tidy. Nice looking card that, to be honest. As a wide man as well, what could we do as a wide man? Passing's not quite so important out wide. Can we get that finishing up to 80? I was going to try and get his pace up a bit as well. Maybe just take that finishing down a little bit and get more on his dexterity. I think I would do that as a wide man. So it's still pretty nice on the ball there. The passing not so important. We're still in the 80s, so got 1 touch and through. I think that's decent for a wide man passing. He's got those passing skills behind him. Finishing 78 is not too bad, especially with those shooting skills. Attacking rates up to 84, decent pace, kicking power still, bit of balance. I think as a wide man, he's not going to have the most electric pace, but certainly could be very decent. He's not got pinpoint crossing, but you could give him pinpoint crossing and use him as a right midfielder. That could be an option. Won't have an amazing cross, but will be decent enough. 83 lofted pass with the pinpoint crossing skill if you gave him that. So right midfield could be an option. On the left, though, as a right footer. Remember, he's 2-footed, though, to be fair. So it's not just a question of, right footed putting crosses on the right and or inverted ring on the left. He can go both ways, whichever wing you put him on. He's very 2-footed. But yeah, certainly off the left if you were going to use him as an inverted ring, or on the right, and if you want to try and hit some long range curls with his weaker foot, which is he's not always going to do, obviously, but you got the option both ways. As that kind of a winger where he's not putting crosses in, he's getting more about getting shots away. He's got long range curl there as well as long range shooting a first time shot. It could be a tidy option using him that way as well. So either wing, attacking midfielder or as a centre midfielder, I think it's a pretty tidy card this. He feels pretty nice to me, Zieliński, when I've used him in the past. One day I'll take him out of my inbox. I just need him to increase the squad limit because, as most of you already know, I don't have much space in my squad. That's why I've got a load of players in my inbox. But yeah, he's a tidy one, Zieliński. Those attacking positions, I think I'd probably do a similar build to this as an SS, to be honest. And as a wide forward, just whatever I just said as a wide midfielder, same thing really. I think he'd be pretty tidy there. So obviously he wouldn't have a play style active as a wide forward. He will still be a whole player as an SS though. So yeah, he's obviously a very attacking player. You could use him as a centre midfielder if you want, with a little bit of defensive ability on him. I'll give him interception, and then you could have a very nice attacking centre midfielder with the whole player playing style. But either as an attacking midfielder or as a wide man, I think he could be a very tidy card. This is not a kind of top level card by any means, but I think he can be a very useful one. He's got end product, he can pass, he can shoot, he's versatile, he's 2-footed. There's a lot to be said for him, and this is a very decent card on the whole. And next we have Evan Ndicka from Roma. He has a face scan, centre back, another extra front man like Lloyd Kelly, and a lefty again. Only standard form. What have we got skill wise? Not a lot. Oh dear. I was expecting a few more skills in this guy. So we've got heading, we've got blocker, we've got acrobatic clearance, and that's about it. That's not a great start. So we need interception, we need man marking, we need aerial superiority. I would personally give him fighting spirit. Maybe he's on 2 passing skills, but yeah, certainly interception and man marking. I think he needs those 2 straight away, and probably aerial superiority. So he's lacking in some defensive skills, this guy. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's have a look at how good this card actually is. So we've had a previous version of Ndicka that was in a previous Italian League pack, actually. Nice of them to give us some variety by giving us the exact same guy again and making one better overall. Sarcasm alert. But yeah, he was in that previous Italian League pack. I don't know how long ago that was. I guess fairly recent because he's not been at Roma that long. Would have been last season, I guess. And yeah, this one's just a slight upgrade on that one, really. So that's really not exciting at all. But he's pretty solid. He's certainly better than Lloyd Kelly, that's for sure. what they boosted the most. They put 7 points on his speed, they put 5 points on his acceleration, they put 5 points on his stamina. Apart from that, a few points on his defending, and the rest of his attributes, some of them not increased at all, some of them increased up to 3. But yeah, the speed, acceleration, stamina, those are the ones they boosted the most, a bit on his defending. And yeah, as you can see, what you got there is a pretty solid looking centre-back. He's strong down the middle there, the core defensives. Good physical strength, jumping's okay, albeit he does need aerial superiority. What's his vertical reach there? 277. Yeah, he's going to be fairly good in the air. But yeah, aerial superiority is one of the skills that he desperately needs. The pace is decent as well. He's about 6'3". Decent pace for a big, strong boy. And then down the left there, decent enough for a centre-back. So he's a good solid centre-back card, this in terms of the attributes, but one major concern, as I say, he desperately needs a bunch of skills, defensive skills, and then a slight concern for some people might be the fact that he's an extra front man. As I mentioned with Lloyd Kelly, I do not like that playing style. I don't want my centre-backs to go wandering forward into the midfield. I already have midfield players there. Stay in defence. So yeah, it just depends on what works for you. If you like an extra front man, it could be great for you. He's very solid. He can certainly defend, physically strong. I think the middle and right columns there is absolutely sound. As an extra front man, if you'd like to make the most of that playing style, I would suggest you would probably want to be a little bit better on the ball when he goes forward with the ball. And again, the importance of getting 1 or 2 passing skills will be even greater. So yeah, as an extra front man, not so sure he's quite got the perfect profile for that. But if you don't mind the playing style and you're just more concerned with the most important attributes in the centre-back, irrespective of the playing style, he's certainly very solid. He's a slight upgrade on that previous one, which I think is the only other version we've had of Ndicka, and he's certainly a very solid looking centre-back. It's just that playing style could put some people off. And skill-wise, like I say, I've said it a couple of times, I'm going to say it one last time, he desperately needs more skills. He does have a left-back as well. He could position train him as a DMF, actually. I'm not sure he's going to be any good. No, he's not really. But as a left-back, can we make him a defensive left-back? No, not really. Doesn't look too great to me. Nah, I'll leave him on auto allocation as a centre-back. So yeah, like I say, attributes are looking good. Very solid centre-back. Playing style might not be for you, but that's the one big concern. He desperately needs a bunch of defensive skills, but if you gave him the skills that he needs as a centre-back and the playing style works for you, good solid centre-back. And finally, we have João Félix, the creative playmaker from AC Milan these days. He's been moving around between clubs, hasn't he, over the last few years. So, got a face scan, obviously. Left wing forward, creative playmaker, only standard form. Got a few positions he can play. Skill-wise, one touch and through, so he's got the passing skills. Outside curl and heel trigger, nice. Soul control, likewise. Couple of skill moves there. Nothing for his shooting. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Félix card? It is decent. Certainly on the ball, very nice. Yeah, quite nice again. We've had a few versions of Félix, obviously, up to this point. We've had a few Player of the Week cards. There's been a prolific winger. I had that one. There's been 2 roaming flanks as well. I also ended up with getting one of those roaming flanks. I got rid of the prolific winger to make space in my squad, and I've kept the roaming flank. I like this guy in the game. I think he's very nice. He moves very nicely. Feels quite fluid on the ball. Moves quite kind of smoothly, you know. This card is a bit better than all of his Player of the Week cards. Just a little bit better. Not a massive difference, but he is a bit better. Different playing style, though. Again, it's one of these cards where it might depend on the playing style. Saying the same with Elise earlier. I personally don't like the creative playmaker's playing style out wide. I do like it as on a kind of number 10 AMF or SS, but out wide, I prefer roaming flank or prolific winger or whole player, depending on whether it's a wide midfield or wide forward. But yeah, you might be fine with that playing style out wide, in which case it could be great for you out wide. He's fantastic on the ball with one touch pass and through passing. I think those passing attributes, certainly low pass is okay on a wide man. Finishing decent enough. Attacking awareness in the 80s is good. Decent pace, decent kicking power, pretty decent balance. Not the best stamina, probably going to get tired. You need to sub him off late in the game, but yeah, I think the one skill, if you're going to give him any skills, certainly if you're playing off the left wing, long range curler is the first one you need to give him, definitely. I think just long range curler alone could really make a difference with this guy. Could be very effective off that left wing. Yeah, like I said, it's a good version. It's better than his Player of the Week cards. In terms of his trainables as well, before I forget, we had a lot of trainable versions of Félix as well, from when he's been at Chelsea, at Barca, at Atletico, obviously. There have been a number of trainable versions that are actually either the same as this one or slightly better. So this isn't the best version of Félix. It's a good one, but I've had a bunch of versions of him that if you've already got them, then you won't need this one because that version will be as good, if not slightly better. But it's still a good guy. It's still a good version of Félix. What they've boosted mainly is his finishing, to be honest. His finishing attributes up by 5 at level 1. His kicking power's up by 7, which will help with the finishing. They've also given him +7 physical contact, which is Probably not what I would have chosen, but it does help. Apart from that, they put 0 on his dribbling, but the rest of his attributes seem to be up by anything from 1 to 3. But like I say, his shooting is going to be a bit better than he normally is, and he's got a bit more physical strength as well. So yeah, not the best version we've had of Felix, but it is a good one. It's a good card. And like I say, they're playing him wide left like this, fantastic on the ball. You could actually nick a few points off his on-the-ball attributes there and give him a bit more. Always got 1 on defending. Yoink, I'll take that. And you could get him 90 speed and 90 acceleration, can you? Yes, easy. Still got 4 points. Nice. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You could put 2 more on shooting. You could put 2 more on passing. Or you can make the most of the boost to his physical contact. And you can make him a physical monster. Get up to 70 physical contact. Wow. Doesn't really make a lot of difference, but you can certainly get speed and acceleration up to the 90 mark. And his kicking power as well. Yeah, if you go this guy long range curler coming off that left wing, I think it could be very decent. I think it'd be a very decent card. Like I say, in my experience, I've had a couple of Player of the Week versions. The one I've settled on is one of the 2 roaming flank versions. It's very nice. I'm very pleased with it. Obviously, it's a very different playing style to this one, but certainly when you get him on the ball, he does feel very smooth. He's very good in possession. He's got a bit of end product. I like him a lot. So this, to me, looks like a very nice version of him. It maybe just comes down to the playing style where that works for you. But if the playing style works for you, wide left could be very, very nice. Through the middle, it's got centre forward. Do you want to use this guy as a centre forward? You probably could do that. Boosted his finishing, but it's still only 85 fully boosted. Attacking where it's 88, you can get away with that for sure. Very nice on the ball for a striker. Passing's decent, especially with one-touch passing, through passing. Good pace. A little bit of physical strength. Got good balance. You could certainly get away with him as a centre forward. I think first time shot would be a necessity skill-wise, and I would definitely still give him long range curl as well. Given those 2 skills as a centre forward, could definitely do a job for you. Just the finishing's a little bit on the low side. But I think as an SS or AMF though, that's where we might also get some joy. That might be where we could get some, find another way to get some value out of this guy. Let's just go to auto allocation as an attack midfielder. So yeah, so it's saying 84 low pass. I'm not having that. I'd like a bit more on that. If that's okay for you, fantastic on the ball, bit of pace. Like I say, he feels very smooth on the ball. As an attacking mid, that build could work very well for you. Either an SS or attacking midfield as a kind of number 10 behind the attack could be very nice. I would like the passing to be higher. I mean, that's an easy one. Let's go 4 off dribbling, 4 into passing. Or maybe just 3. Just go to the 88 mark. 3 points left. 1 on lower body. I just need 1 more point to get him from 86 to 88 for speed. Oh, I could nick another 1 for dribbling. There we go. Boom. 1 point on aerial, whatever. Yeah, so that will work for me. He's got 1 touch and through, 88 low pass, still very nice on the ball there. Good attacking awareness, got the speed and acceleration at 88, good kicking power, balance, finishing at 80 as well. Yeah, I think as an attacking mid or as an SS, it could be pretty tidy. Like I say, he's going to feel nice on the ball. He's got some end product. Could be very tidy in those positions. Wide right, I'm not so sure. To be honest, I would build him pretty much like that. That's about as good as you can get as lofted pass. So with a right foot on the right wing, if we gave him pinpoint crossing, maybe. I don't know if I fancy that though. I don't think it's worth it for a guy who's crossing. Even if you gave him pinpoint crossing, it wouldn't be particularly great. Certainly through the middle though, like I say, that kind of a build, that's roughly how I build him through the middle. As a playmaker through the middle with that creative playmaker playing style, I think could be very handy. Could certainly do a job. Centre forward at a push, you could certainly get some joy out of him as a centre forward. You're getting first time shot and long range curler. If you wanted to do that, it could be a very nice striker without an active playing style. But I'll leave him on auto allocation as a left winger. Whether you do that or whether you beef up his own product a bit, get speed and acceleration to 90 like I did. I think as a left winger, based on my personal experience and what I can see from these attributes here and the skills he's got, I would definitely give him long range curler. But if you gave him long range curler, I think as a left winger, this could be a very nice card to have. So yeah, not necessarily the best card we've had of Felix in the game, but it's definitely one that I think if you've not got a version already that's as good or better, this could be a very nice card to pick up if you get it. So there's your Italian League selection. I think it's a decent selection. As always, you've got a mixed bag in there. Just depends on what cards you've got, whether you've got good versions of these players already, what kind of positions you need new players in. But there's certainly some decent ones in there. Esposito as a dummy runner. If you like that playing style, could be a decent option for you. Not amazing, but certainly could be usable. Vlašić, I think, is a pretty tidy one. Versatile, could be a pretty nifty attacking middle wide man for you. Marušić could be a useful one for the Italian League Challenge. I'm not sure how many people are going to be putting him in their squads for divisions and so on, but certainly for the Italian League Challenge, could be useful to have in your ranks. Posch, very solid defensive right back, but as we saw, sneaky centre back, very, very good. Falcone, solid goalkeeper, nothing special, but certainly not bad, just a solid goalie. Adli, if you're playing to his strengths, he's very good at getting on the ball and creating chances. Maybe not so strong elsewhere, but like I said, if you're playing to his strengths, he could be a useful one, certainly. Lloyd Kelly for me is probably the biggest dud in this pack. As a Newcastle fan, it would have been great for me if it was a good card. I was hoping it would be when I saw him, but yeah, that defensive engagement, needs skills, overall just not great, but could be a half decent defensive left back if you're training for that. A good Lukaku card, Fox in the box, good all-rounder, could make him a decent aerial threat, but just if you just go for the auto allocation as an all-rounder, could be a very, very tidy centre forward for you. Zieliński, similar to Vlašić really, whole player, could play him out wide or through the middle. Certainly a lot better going forward than defensively, but it's a solid version, about as good a version of Zieliński as we've had, with a few ways you can use him. Very two-footed, got some end product, very tidy card. And Ndicka desperately needs some skills. If you gave him the skills and if you don't mind the playing style, solid centre-back. And then we finished out with Felix. So not the best version we've had of Felix, but it's a good one. Through the middle could be pretty tidy. Could be a sneaky centre forward if you want, but I think especially as a wide man coming off that left wing onto his right foot, especially if you give him the long range curler skill, that could be a very, very nice card to have. So certainly some good ones in there. There's one or two not so great, but yeah, mixed bag on the whole. I think for a fair few people there'll be some decent cards in there well worth picking up. So there you go. Cheers for watching. Hopefully you found this useful. Let me know what you think of the pack. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it. I'll be doing a live stream, maybe 1 or 2 live streams over the weekend. A bit more Fuma against AI. So keep your eyes out for that. And aside from that, I'll catch you soon. Jump into the Discord if you're not already there. Thank you for watching. Do really appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Have a good weekend. See ya.